Hey everyone, and welcome back to Thesaurus Thrive. I'm Lily, and I'm so excited to be here with you all today.
And I'm Ava. It's great to have you joining us. Have you ever felt like learning English can sometimes feel a bit dry, like just memorizing words from a list? We totally get it.
Absolutely, Ava, and that's exactly why today we're going to do something a little different and hopefully a lot more fun and engaging. We're going to learn English, improve your speaking, and expand your vocabulary, all through a heart-touching story.
That's right. Stories are powerful tools. They stick with you, right? And when you learn new words and phrases in context, it's so much easier to remember them and actually use them in your own conversations. No more just memorizing dry definitions.
Our goal today is to help you not just understand English, but to feel it, to speak it more naturally, and to gain confidence. We'll break down the story, pull out useful expressions, and give you plenty of chances to practice speaking aloud. So, get ready to open your ears and your mouth.
Perfect! Today's story is called The Gardener's Gift. It's about kindness, connection, and how small actions can make a huge difference. I think you're going to love it. We'll tell it in parts, and after each part, we'll dive into the language.
Let's begin then. Our story starts in a quiet little town where an elderly woman named Mrs. Peterson lived alone. She was known for her beautiful garden, a vibrant burst of colors that brought joy to everyone who passed by. But lately, she found it difficult to tend to her beloved flowers.
Okay, let's pause right there. Elderly woman. This is a polite way to say an old woman. You might also hear senior citizen. So, Mrs. Peterson was an elderly woman. Can you say that with me? Elderly woman. Good.
And then tend to her beloved flowers. To tend to something means to take care of it, to look after it. So she needed to water them, pull weeds, make sure they were healthy. Beloved means something you love very much, something dear to your heart. So her beloved flowers were her favorite flowers, the ones she loved.
Right. Try saying she loved to tend to her garden. One more time. She loved to tend to her garden. Excellent. And found it difficult. This is a really useful phrase. It means something was hard for her. Instead of saying it was hard for her to take care of the flowers, you can say she found it difficult to tend to her flowers. It sounds more natural.
Exactly. You can use this for anything. I found it difficult to wake up early this morning. Or he found it difficult to solve the math problem. It's very versatile. So, Mrs. Peterson, an elderly woman, found it difficult to tend to her beloved flowers. She was struggling.
Let's continue. One afternoon, a young boy named Leo was riding his bicycle past her house. He often admired her garden, its colors always catching his eye. Today, though, he noticed Mrs. Peterson sitting on her porch, looking a bit sad, watching the weeds slowly take over her vibrant flower beds.
Okay, let's break this part down. Admired her garden. To admire means to look at something with respect and pleasure, to think it's beautiful or impressive. So, Leo thought her garden was wonderful. Can you try saying, I admire your hard work? One more time. I admire your hard work.
And then, its colors always catching his eye. This is a lovely idiom. If something catches your eye, it means it attracts your attention. You notice it. So the bright colors of the flowers always made him look. Think of something that catches your eye. Maybe a new shop window or a bright advertisement.
Right. Try this. The beautiful painting caught my eye. Say it aloud. The beautiful painting caught my eye. And he also noticed weeds slowly take over. Weeds are wild plants that grow where they are not wanted, often harming the plants you do want. And take over means to gain control of something. So, the weeds were starting to control the garden.
Think about it. The weeds were taking over the garden. You could also say, my homework is taking over my weekend. It means it's consuming your time. And Mrs. Peterson was looking a bit sad. This is simple but important. Instead of just she was sad, adding a bit or a little makes it sound more natural, less dramatic. She wasn't deeply depressed, just a little sad.
Exactly. Let's move to the next part of our story. Leo, a thoughtful boy, dismounted his bike and walked towards her gate. Hello, Mrs. Peterson, he said, his voice soft. Your garden is still so lovely, but it looks like you could use some help with those weeds. Would you mind if I helped you a little?
Okay, dismounted his bike. To dismount means to get off something, especially a horse or a bicycle. So he got off his bike. Very simple. Try saying, I dismounted the horse.
Good, and then thoughtful boy. Thoughtful means showing consideration for others, caring about other people's needs or feelings. Leo wasn't just riding by. He actually thought about Mrs. Peterson. Can you describe someone you know as thoughtful? My friend is very thoughtful. Say that aloud.
Then he asked, would you mind if I helped you a little? This is a super polite way to offer help. You're asking if it's okay, if it bothers her. You could say, would you mind if I opened the window? Or would you mind if I sat here? It's a great phrase to practice for making polite requests.
It really is. Try repeating it. Would you mind if I helped you? Again, would you mind if I helped you? Notice the dub sound in would and mind. This is how native speakers often connect words. It's a tiny detail, but makes your English sound much more fluid.
Absolutely. Mrs. Peterson looked surprised. No one had offered to help her with the garden in years. A warm smile slowly spread across her face. That's very kind of you, Leo, she replied, her voice a little shaky with emotion. I would truly appreciate that.
Let's focus on looked surprised. Simple, right? But think about how you'd use it. She looked surprised when I told her the news. Or, he looked surprised to see me. It describes someone's expression. Repeat. He looked surprised.
Then, a warm smile slowly spread across her face. This imagery helps you feel the moment. Spread means to extend over an area. So her smile grew bigger and bigger across her face. It shows a genuine, heartfelt smile. Think about how a feeling spreads through a crowd.
And that's very kind of you. This is how you respond to an act of kindness. It's a phrase you'll use constantly in English. If someone holds a door for you, that's very kind of you. If someone helps you carry something, that's very kind of you. Practice it. That's very kind of you.
And I would truly appreciate that. Appreciate means to value something, to be grateful for it. Adding truly makes it even stronger, showing deep gratitude. So she was very, very thankful. I truly appreciate your help. Say it aloud. I truly appreciate your help.
All right, let's hear the next part of our story. For the next few afternoons, Leo diligently pulled weeds, watered the plants, and tidied up the flower beds. Mrs. Peterson would sit on her porch, sometimes chatting with him, sometimes just watching him work. She told him stories of her late husband and the history of each flower. Leo, in turn, shared his dreams of becoming an astronaut.
Okay, diligently pulled weeds. Diligently means in a careful and persistent way, working hard and thoroughly. Leo wasn't lazy. He worked carefully and thoroughly. If you study diligently, you study hard and carefully. Try saying he worked diligently on his project.
And tidied up the flower beds. To tidy up means to make something neat and orderly. So, he made the flower beds neat. You can tidy up your room, tidy up your desk. It's a very common phrase. I need to tidy up my kitchen. Repeat that. I need to tidy up my kitchen.
Then, sometimes chatting with him. Chatting means having a friendly, informal conversation. It's not a formal discussion, it's just talking casually. You chat with friends, you chat with family. Try saying, I love to chat with my friends.
And her late husband. When you say someone is late, it's a polite way to say they have died. So, her husband had passed away. It's a very common and sensitive way to talk about someone who is no longer alive. My late grandmother was a great cook.
Exactly. And finally, shared his dreams. To share something means to tell someone about it, to let them experience it with you. So he told her about his dreams. You can share a meal, share a secret, or share your thoughts. Repeat. They shared their stories.
Now for the final part of our story. As the weeks passed, Mrs. Peterson's garden returned to its former glory, even more beautiful than before. But more importantly, a beautiful friendship blossomed between the elderly woman and the young boy. Their conversations became a daily ritual, filling their lives with warmth and companionship. Leo learned about patience and the joy of giving, and Mrs. Peterson found comfort and renewed happiness in their shared moments. The whole town noticed the change, a reminder that kindness, like a well-tended garden, always flourishes.
Wow, what a lovely ending. Returned to its former glory. Former means previous or earlier. Glory here means its beauty, its magnificent state. So the garden became beautiful again, like it was before. Can you say the old building returned to its former glory after renovation?
And a beautiful friendship blossomed. To blossom means to develop and flourish. Like a flower opening up, their friendship grew and became stronger and more beautiful. You can say her talent blossomed or their relationship blossomed. It's a wonderful verb to describe growth.
Then, their conversations became a daily ritual. A ritual is a regular, repeated activity, something you do often and habitually. So talking every day became a habit for them, an important part of their day. What's a daily ritual for you? Maybe drinking coffee? Say, coffee is my daily ritual.
And filling their lives with warmth and companionship. Warmth here means a feeling of kindness, comfort, and happiness. Companionship means the pleasure of being with someone. So they both felt happy and less lonely because they were together. I enjoy her companionship.
Exactly. And renewed happiness. Renewed means started again or refreshed. So she felt happy again, a fresh happiness. Think of renewing a library book. It means you get it again. So she had new happiness. I feel renewed after a good night's sleep.
And finally, kindness, like a well-tended garden, always flourishes. To flourish means to grow or develop in a healthy or vigorous way, especially as the result of a particularly favorable environment. So kindness thrives and grows strong, just like a garden that is well cared for. It means kindness always does well.
What a beautiful message, right? So we've walked through the gardener's gift, breaking it down word by word, phrase by phrase. We hope you enjoyed the story and learned some valuable English along the way.
Now it's your turn to practice. Remember, speaking is key to fluency. Don't just listen, speak. I'm going to say some sentences from the story or based on the story, and I want you to repeat them out loud after me. Don't worry if it's not perfect, just try to make the sounds.
That's right. Imitate our pronunciation. Try to match the rhythm and the flow. This is how you train your mouth and your brain to speak English naturally. Are you ready? Here we go.
First sentence. Mrs. Peterson found it difficult to tend to her garden.
Your turn. Mrs. Peterson found it difficult to tend to her garden.
Great! Next one. Leo noticed her looking a bit sad.
Repeat after me. Leo noticed her looking a bit sad.
Excellent. How about this one? Would you mind if I helped you a little?
Say it. Would you mind if I helped you a little?
Good job. Try this one. That's very kind of you, Leo. Repeat.
That's very kind of you, Leo.
Fantastic. One last one. Their friendship blossomed beautifully.
Your turn. Their friendship blossomed beautifully.
Awesome job, everyone. Keep practicing those sentences throughout the day. Repetition is truly your best friend when it comes to fluency.
Now, to help you hear these phrases in a real-life mini-conversation, Ava and I are going to have a quick chat, using some of the vocabulary and expressions we learned today. Imagine we're talking about a neighbor.
Sounds good, Lily. So, I was walking past Mrs. Davies' house yesterday. You know, the elderly lady who lives down the street.
Oh yes, I know her. She has that lovely little garden, doesn't she? What about her?
Well, I noticed her looking a bit sad. She was trying to carry a heavy bag of groceries, and she seemed to find it difficult. Her arm was shaky, you know.
Oh no, that's not good. It's tough when you're elderly and living alone, especially with those kinds of everyday tasks.
Exactly. So I walked over and asked her, "Would you mind if I helped you with that bag, Mrs. Davies?"
That was very thoughtful of you, Ava. What did she say?
She looked quite surprised at first, but then a warm smile slowly spread across her face. She said, "Oh, that's very kind of you, dear. I would truly appreciate that."
See? Just like in our story, little acts of kindness can make someone's day, and I bet that simple help made her feel so much better.
It really did. We had a little chat as I carried her bag inside. She even shared a story about her late husband's favorite rose bushes. It was lovely. I hope our little connection blossoms into a friendship like Leo and Mrs. Peterson's.
I'm sure it will, Ava. And you helped her garden flourish too, in a way, by making her feel good. That's a perfect example of how these phrases come up naturally in conversation.
Definitely. So, that's our story and our practice for today. But before we go, we want to give you a few practical tips to keep improving your English fluency, especially inspired by how we learned today.
My first tip is immerse yourself in stories and real-life English. Don't just read textbooks. Listen to podcasts like ours, watch movies with subtitles, read simple English stories. The more you expose yourself to English in natural contexts, the more your brain will pick up patterns and meanings without you even realizing it.
That's so true, Lily. And my second tip ties into that. Try retelling stories in your own words. After you listen to or read a short story, try to explain what happened to a friend, or even just to yourself in the mirror. Use the new vocabulary you learned. This forces you to activate your speaking muscles and recall words naturally.
Excellent point, Ava. And my third tip, and perhaps the most important one, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Seriously, every single native speaker made countless mistakes when they were learning to speak. The goal isn't perfection, it's communication. The more you speak, the more confident you'll become, and the more your English will improve.
Absolutely. Think of it like a journey. Every mistake is just a step on the path to fluency. It shows you're trying, and that's what matters most. So, speak often, speak with confidence, and don't let fear hold you back.
And remember that kindness, whether it's helping an elderly neighbor or just being kind to yourself as you learn, always flourishes. Learning a new language is a marathon, not a sprint, and every bit of progress counts.
We truly hope today's episode, Learn English Through a Heart-Touching Story, has given you some great tools and motivation. Your English speaking will improve fast if you keep practicing these strategies.
Thank you so much for joining us on Thesaurus Thrive. If you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, please give us a like, share it with your friends who are also learning English, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future lessons.
Yes, hit that subscribe button, and remember, practice daily. Even just a few minutes makes a huge difference. Keep speaking, keep learning, and keep thriving in English.
Until next time, happy learning!
Bye for now.